Hello, and welcome to another B.T.F.O, or Brief Thoughts for Others. Today is going to be a little unique in that this is a 2-for-1 special, because today I'm going to be talking about The Crow 2024 and The Crow 1994. So to put this in perspective, I did this in what I'm almost certain most people would consider the complete wrong order. I went and saw The Crow 2024, and then watched the original 1994 movie, and I have no idea what the original comic source material is, and frankly I don't really care. I mean, I'm sure it's probably interesting, but The Crow's it's never been something that really appealed to me, but I saw a lot of hate for the new one, at least in thumbnails and stuff. I've tried not to watch any reviews before going into it, and after watching it, I gotta say I don't really know, and this is even after watching the original. I don't really know where all the hate is coming from. The new one is not the worst movie ever. It's lame when compared to the original, that's for sure, but they didn't assassinate the Crow's character or anything. They're so distinct that, other than sharing the same name, they're pretty much two different characters. So the 24 movie, basically, the Crow is this guy who, he's kind of like a drugged out loser, pretty much, and he gets with his girlfriend because she's on the run, and they break out of rehab together, and then the people that she was on the run from, they come in and they kill both of them, and then basically he goes to limbo. And the guy in limbo explains that the bad guy of the movie, he's been sending innocent people to hell in exchange for being immortal. And so they don't like that. So they're going to give him the opportunity to come back up as the Crow. And if he kills that guy, then him and his girlfriend, they can come back, which is fine, I guess. It's one of those premises where it's oh, yep, okay, I just have to accept, Christian mythology, on its face for this to work. Because it's well, I mean, there are a lot of questions as to, well, who let the devil make that deal? That doesn't seem right. Couldn't an omnipotent being stop all this? But then basically, at one point, he has doubts about whether or not she was the person that he actually fell in love with, after seeing, because the bad guy in the new one, he can use a demon voice to manipulate people, and so at one point in the past, he got the girlfriend lady to kill someone by using the demon voice on her, which the Crow knows, but I guess he still kind of doubts that she would have been able to do anything like that. It's a little weird, especially because of the fact that it comes after he's already started killing people. But then basically he has to change the deal. So he tells the guy in limbo, because he gets sent back because his love wasn't pure. And so he tells the guy in limbo, he's like, hey, look, like, you want that guy gone, I want my girlfriend back. Let's do a trade. If I can kill that guy, then I will take her place, and she can come back to, like, the world of the living. And the limbo guy agrees to that, which it's like, okay, I guess they consider the crow's soul not innocent anymore, because their whole deal was that they didn't like innocent souls going to hell. So yeah, it's a little like contrived, and is a little on shaky ground as to, is that what people would want to happen? But then the crow goes and he like kills the guy and like takes him to limbo and hands him off to the other guy. And then that's where the movie ends, which is kind of funny because it's like, no, you should be going to hell. Why are we still in limbo? Like, you said you were going to take your girlfriend's place, but you didn't. But yeah, that's basically it for the new one. The new one feels very much to me like a project that was done just to retain the rights, where I could definitely see a studio like commissioning this and being like, hey, yeah, we need the most inoffensive like version possible. Like, no, don't try anything new, don't be daring, like, just give me whatever lame like adaptation you can, and like, just make it super dull and boring. It doesn't matter. We're making it for like $5, although apparently it costs like, I think I saw it cost like $50 million. But like, I can see it doesn't seem like a whole lot of passion actually went into the new one, which kind of sucks. And like, a lot of the dialogue you can tell is very like first drafty, in the sense that a character will like ask a question and then the other character in the dialogue will just answer that question directly, and there's no little like bits of personality in there or anything. It's just strictly like, it's exposition in the form of a conversation. It's like kind of boring to listen to. And then even because I remember, so they establish in the new one that while he can heal, he does also feel pain. Which some of the stuff he goes through, it's like, yeah, I don't know. Like, if you're healing but you're still feeling the pain of that, like, I don't know, man, that's pretty tough. But like, so they establish that, and then near the end, the bad guy, he stabs the crow, and the crow like just sort of keeps looking at the bad guy, and the bad guy says, you can't feel any of it, can you? The crow responds, I can feel it all. And it's like, what are we doing? Like, no, get rid of the word can in there. Like, yeah, I know that's a direct response to what the bad guy said, but like, if you just cut it down to I feel it all, then A, it's a more accurate response, but also B, it sounds a lot less clunky. Like, because when he says I can feel it all, it's like, well, no, you don't really have a choice in that. Like, you do feel it all. So yeah, it's a little weird, but I don't know, for all of the like little like thumbnails and stuff that I've seen of people being like, "Oh, the Crow remake is the worst thing ever." It's like, guys, come on, like, look at almost any other franchise at this point. You guys got off really fucking easy. Um, uh, but yeah, and like then going and watching the original was super interesting, where because the original avoids a lot of the problems of the remake by just skipping like a huge chunk of the story, where because like we start off the story with the Crow and his girlfriend like getting murdered, and then we immediately cut to 1 year later, and like the Crow comes back to life, and they don't spend any time in limbo. Like they don't actually explain why he's there. In fact, they make a point of establishing that he's not even entirely certain why he's there. Just that he's like, well, if I'm here, then I'm gonna fucking kill the people that raped and murdered my girlfriend. Which that was another thing that you could tell right off the bat, where the remake is just so much like softer. It has a bit more gore just because they can like do a bit more of that with CG. But like right off the bat in the original, it's like, yep, everyone's fucking smoking. Like they're very explicit about the fact that Sherry was raped. And like they're very explicit about like how she was raped. Like you don't see any nudity, but it's like you can tell from the different angles what happened. And like within the first like 30 minutes they show a tit, and it's like, oh, okay, yeah, so like this is a lot less sanitized than the remake, which is kind of nice. You know, I'm glad whenever I see an R-rated movie and it's like, oh, hey, yeah, it's not treating me like I'm a baby. Because, you know, if you're making your movie R, then it should be for adults. And then, as another counter to the remake, I found it really interesting that the original is almost, it's like oozing personality. To the point where it's kind of over the top, but not really in a bad way, where it feels like they were hyper afraid of any of the characters being considered one note. And so all of the characters have like distinct personalities and like distinct accents and get-ups, and like it's very fun to watch. The original is a very fun movie. It's got some stuff in there where, like, especially right near the third act, it feels like they just sort of they need a way to wrap it up, and so then they just sort of have the bad guy's girlfriend / sister, like she just sort of knows a bunch of stuff about the Crow, and she's like, oh yeah, if you like kill his bird, then he can be killed. I was like, okay, yeah, I'm not sure how you know that. Like, when did we establish this? Like, oh, okay, I guess we just need the movie to end, so like we're gonna establish that so that we can have like stakes in our third act. Yeah, I don't know. It's definitely a fun movie. There's a huge difference in that, like, because I think the remake definitely, it does the thing that a lot of remakes do, where they want the iconography, but they don't like care to transfer over the reasoning, because so like in the original they established pretty clearly right off the bat that Eric Draven was like some kind of an actor, like probably a gymnast of some sort, but like he has got the masks for like the drama masks there in his apartment, and he was like wearing one the night that like they were murdered, and so that's the makeup that he puts on his face is to replicate that mask, and that makes sense. Whereas in the new one they try to give it a new reasoning of like, oh, it's the black blood of the crow, and like it pours out of the guy's like eyes and stuff when he's in limbo, and then when he comes back to the real world, like he just sort of decides like, hey, yeah, cool, I'll put some black makeup on my face to, you know, emulate the black blood of the crow. It's like, okay, I guess. I don't know why it means that much to you. And then, like, the trench coat was another funny one, where in the original, he puts on the trench coat after he kills, like, the first guy that, like, raped and killed his girlfriend. And it was that guy's trench coat. So it's like, it's a trophy for him. Whereas in the new one, the first place that they hide out at is like some fashion designer's house. And he just happens to have a trench coat in there that like the crow wore before like he messed around with his girlfriend. Then he just ends up like going back to that place, and the trench coat is just still like right there on the couch, and so he just picks it up and puts it on. And like they give you a whole bunch of shots throughout the remake of like the trench coat just there on the couch, like, ooh, that's gonna be important later. And I was like, it's a trench coat. Like, yeah, they're cool, but like, come on, it's not magic or anything. Like, it's just a trench coat. And like, I guess the sword is kind of like, I don't know, it's just as meaningful in both versions, where it's not super meaningful how he gets it. In the original, it's just, for some reason, the villain in like this weird like warehouse facility that he's got, that he runs his HQ from, that is like a bar and a concert hall, while also being extremely industrial. He has like this wall of swords, like this secret wall of swords, like it comes out, but like the crow ends up taking one from there, whereas in the remake, the sword is just like in one of the crow's, like his buddy's apartment, and like his buddy ended up getting killed, so he just takes that sword because it's there. But like, yeah, I don't know. I would definitely, if someone was interested in checking out a Crow movie, I would encourage them to watch the original. I wouldn't necessarily discourage anyone from watching the remake, but it's like you've got the option to watch a better version. You might as well watch the better version. Like, I don't think anyone's gonna like have a really terrible experience watching the new version, because it's a bit lame. But like that's about like its worst crime. It's a bit lame. It's a bit soulless, but like there's no active character destruction or anything. Um, like, the world is in an okay shape. I'm still a little confused on the limbo stuff, but yeah, I would recommend the original, because it's a pretty fun film. Overall, I was very much happy that I watched it, after finishing it. Whereas the new one, it's sort of like, yeah, that killed like an hour and a half of time. But yeah, I think that's about it for my brief thoughts on both of these films. So I'll see you next time. Bye bye.